Good morning. I gotta put my glasses on to do it. It is 9 o'clock on September 10th, and I'd like to open the regular meeting of the Klickitat County Commissioners. I see Mr. Anderson is online as he's in Washington, D.C. today. And Mr. Christopher, has he joined us or is he? We do not have Mr. Christopher, but with Mr. Anderson, we do have a quorum. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we will ask for approval of the business agenda. Mr. Anderson, can you make a
Madam Chair, I'll be here for about 20 minutes and I'm walking to the next meeting here in DC, but I would make a motion to approve the business agenda as presented.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Christopher still's not available. So I'll step down in second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
A business agenda passes. Approval of the commissioner meeting minutes.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the meeting minute.
I'll step down in second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and Jake, since we have you here with us, we'll skip to consent agenda. Could you do a motion for consent agenda with 4 items?
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda with 4 items.
And I'll step down in second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Do you want the pay estimate too?
Yeah, Elise is saying yes, please.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the pay estimate number 6 and final for the Fairground Sale Park project in the amount of $253,254.63.
And I'll step down in second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. I got one more for you, it sounds like.
Yep.
Madam Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the accounts payable warrants in the amount of $243,493.68 for the date ending August 9th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I'll step down in second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. So that covers all of our beginning work. So we can move back to public comment now. So we'll wait for those to raise your hand in the room and then come forward to speak. And also online, please raise your hand or unmute and we'll recognize you online.
Madam Chair, before we open public comment, I just had one thing that I was supposed to bring up today, and that is for the centennial celebration between for the Port of Hood River on the Hood River Bridge. They 100 years ago, they handed off about a box of fruit from a Hood River County Commissioner to a Klickitat County Commissioner. And I wanted to throw that out there. If you'd like to receive your fruit, or if you want me to, or how do you want
to do that? You go right ahead, Jake. You've been involved in that process.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Yeah, thank you for asking. That's interesting. Yep. Simple times. So we'll start in the room. Billy, would you like to come forward?
Good morning. Hello, Billy Bear, Klickitat County Assessor. I felt that it was best to come during public comment because I think there's more citizens that are listening at this time, but I wanted to make everybody aware that your value notices for this assessment cycle are being mailed this Friday the 13th. I did not plan that. It just happened that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but there is a lot of information on our website, and we we welcome the calls and the comments, and we are here to assist taxpayers in their questions. I heard last week on the meeting that someone didn't even know where their tax dollars were going to. We can definitely help you with that. We have links on our website, as well as the Treasurer's Office has also some information that pertains to where your tax dollars go. We also would like to make sure that everyone knows that we are open. We accept walk-ins during regular business hours, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I'm fully staffed with appraisers, accredited appraisers, a very qualified admin staff that can help through the different programs. And we're here to help and to explain our processes and how your assessments affect your taxes for next year. So thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
Yep.
Okay, so online, Mr. Nichols.
Well, thank you very much. I'm still trying to distill all the fun and games you're having with the Dell Sport, and it seems to me, I want to find out if I'm saying the right thing, that all of the things that are going on that are a problem trace back to the FAA not accepting the deal that you originally made. All of the other things follow from that, and we're waiting for the FAA's approval. Is that a fair statement?
I think I can answer that right now rather than commissioner comment. Yes, that is a fair statement.
Thank you.
Okay. And back in the room. Is there anyone that'd like to give public comment this morning?
Yes, I would. Can you hear me?
Yes, could you tell us who
Hello?
you?
Yeah, my name is Guy Skeel. I have a short plat I've been working with, trying to get the road approval with Public Works on off of Glenwood Highway. I'm a little frustrated at this point. We're about a year and a half into the process, and just with, a little frustrated with my contractors and engineers for not getting it right the first time. But we've had the county come out there 5 different times, and we've gotten different answers every time. And last time we're like, do not go out there unless we're out there with you, so you can show us exactly what you want done to get this completed. We went out there, we documented it, we had representatives from both sides, and we went through everything, what needed to get done. We brought equipment back out there, we did it all again. We asked Public Works to go back out and check our work, and they brought up a new issue, which is about cut slopes banks being a 2-to-1, which is something that you would do in the beginning of the project, not a year and a half later, not when the road's complete, because all we had to do is bring out a couple loads of gravel to kind of fill in some spots to make the road wider. That was the biggest problem. Not to mention the new road standards, 14 feet, and we're doing a 20-foot road because we're on the old road standards. So it's kind of a moot point, but still a point. And so I'm just extremely frustrated because now they're talking about us going back basically to square one and redoing the whole road to cut banks back to meet this 2-to-1. And I'm sure that if there's any erosion or stability issues from that, they would have shown already, since that road has been in place for so long. So it says the engineer can go out there and approve it. And I was hoping that I could get help from the commissioners to encourage that to happen, so someone could actually just go out there and see if it's an actual issue or not.
Thank you, Mr. Steele. We'll look into it for you. Back in the room. Everybody's quiet this morning. Online, does anyone have their hand raised or unmute? What is that? 0088. Did you wish to give public?
Yes, Delmer Eldred, Goldendale.
Good morning.
And good morning. It seems like this year has been an excessive amount of absence of the commissioners during meetings. And I feel that whatever they're paid should be prorated at the times that they're not there, and that money should be put back in the general fund. It's not right for us to be paying their salary while they are not even anywhere around here. I mean, basically, we're paying them, and they're not acting as commissioners. So I think that all that money that they, the last year, all the time that they've been vacant, that money should be placed back into the general fund. That's my comment.
Thank you. So back in the room. Nobody this morning. Online, is there someone else this morning? Raise your hand or unmute so we know you'd like to give comment. Wow. Well, there we are. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning, this is Ann Slade down in Dallasport. And a topic that comes up quite often, the Dallasport Water District and the roughly $200,000 for those filtration vessels, as they've been called, the ATEC vessels. Been doing a little bit of research, ran out of time this morning before this meeting. But for those who are interested, I'm trying to track down what happened back on April 23rd at the BOCC meeting. Because if you look at consent agenda item number 4, there was reference to approval to turn over roughly $200,000, not to exceed $200,000, to the Dallasport Water District for those vessels. Looking at the complete agenda packet, the information runs from page 150 to 168 for the agenda packet for that day. But the water district came home from that meeting with no money. And I unfortunately was out of town, did not get to watch that meeting, so I don't know what happened. I'm hoping that you can enlighten me and everybody else who might be curious, because the expectation was there that day on the water district side to attend and receive the money. And apparently it was the expectation of whoever wrote the agenda that that was going to happen. So I'd like to know why they did not get the money that day. And totally new topic, just a quick reminder that we are having the candidates night at the Dallasport Community Center this coming Thursday. The event runs from 7 o'clock to 9 or so. We will be there about 6 o'clock setting up if anyone needs to come by early. All 4 of the county commissioner candidates have agreed to appear. We are hoping for a good event, a good turnout. We've been broadcasting this far and wide. It's open to all Klickitat County residents. We are nonpartisan. This is hosted by the Dallasport Murdoch Community Council. So we invite everybody to come over and see us, and let's find out where all the candidates stand on the issues that are important to you. So it should be an interesting evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. And thank you for reminding about that meeting. I'd heard 2 different times, so it's good to hear it from you what time that really is. So back in the room. No? Mr. Smith, we gotcha.
I'll make it short and sweet.
Thank you. Take mercy.
Well, yeah, you're lucky because I had a full speech prepared,
Oh,
but since 2 of the candidates aren't here, Andrew Smith, Klickitat County, we'll just keep this basic and simple then. I just want to keep the jail with the sheriff, keep the posse members going, and I'll do my full speech next week. Anyway, thank you.
thank you. So back online. Unmute or raise your hand and we'll call on you. Give it a little more time. If you wish to give comment on Zoom today, please unmute or raise your hand so we can see you'd like to talk. Nobody else out there? Adrian, come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is this live?
Yes, it is.
I'm just prompted to speak because of Ann's call in from Dallasport on the Dallasport water issue. I happen to know, and she's highly, highly informed and highly unskilled, and she follows that issue as close as anyone. And I do too. I attend her meetings and I attend these meetings. And I just want to make comment that issue, we can easily call it complicated, but it is complicated, but it isn't being held up by the BOCC. It's a lot more complicated than that. So just as long as everybody gets the big picture, it'll get cleared up sooner or later. But there are vested interests who are diverting it and hanging it onto it. And there's two different states involved. There's Oregon, the Dallas as the Dalles, and then there's Klickitat County regulating the airport, and that's a big water issue. So it's not being held up by BOCC. I can assure everybody of that.
Thank you, Adrian. So back online. 7211.
Greg Wagner with Cease. April of 2021, I brought to the board's attention how the renewables, wind and solar, weren't being assessed in the best manner. Cost-based method of appraisal gives them an 8.5% annual depreciation on their property, which in turn reduces the amount of tax revenue this county collects. That was ignored. Mr. Anderson said, we can't play in another elected official sandbox. And Mr. Christopher said, it's not my job. It's not my job description. I'd like for you to read RCW 3632-120, number 4, that says that's the county commissioner's job duties to levy and collect taxes per the law. January 4, 2022, the board exercised that ability and raised the sales tax for the citizens in the unincorporated area. How is it that you can raise the citizens' taxes, but you don't want to deal with the renewables? Now, last week, you talked about increasing the sales tax and doing a levy lift, which all impacts all the citizens again. Our property tax will go up and we'll have more sales tax to pay, but yet the wind and solar companies still don't pay their fair share of what they're supposed to pay. Now, I know I'm going to hear a rebuttal from old Anderson, who's going to tell me how much money the renewables pay us. But every year, their taxes are going down while the citizens' taxes continue to rise. And that's wrong. We also heard Anderson say last week, if the people want the services they're getting now, they got to put their money where their mouth is. I find that to be quite an ignorant statement to the citizens that he's supposed to represent. It should be the corporations that are paying their fair share so the citizens won't have to continue to have their taxes raised. I'd like to know when you three commissioners are going to quit with all the excuses, that you have nothing to do with taxation when you truly do, at least when it comes to the citizens' taxes. It's time for you all to step up and get these wind and solar companies to pay the taxes they should be paying, along with the assessor. He says it's state assessed. We hear all kinds of excuses. We pay you to represent us and do what's best for the citizens, not for these corporations. And that's all I see happen, as does many people. Our taxes go up, their taxes go down. You're paid public servants. You're supposed to do what's best for the citizens, safety, health, and welfare of the citizens. You seem to ignore that. You seem to have the safety, health, and welfare of the corporations, the renewables, in your mind more than the citizens. This needs to change. You all work for us. You seem to forget that. I hope one day somebody becomes a commissioner that puts the citizens first. Now, Dan, if you got that evidence about corruption, when are you going to bring it to the forefront? Otherwise, it's lip service and BS.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Wagner. Anyone in the room? So I see we have Rita Pinchot. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioner. I just wanted to invite and encourage the commissioners to attend one of the upcoming events in our county on September 20th as part of National Recovery Month. Both Golden Dale and White Salmon are hosting Facing Fentanyl Together events as part of a statewide initiative to increase awareness about the impacts of fentanyl and provide training for folks interested in having access to Narcan. And it would be great to see any or all of you there supporting prevention efforts, especially those who are really speaking out about behavioral health. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a good place to get the word out here. So, okay, in the room. Everybody's quiet. Online, is there anyone else that would like to give public comment this morning? I see no one. No one? Nobody else in the room? One more time for online. Okay, we'll move to commissioners. Mr. Anderson, did you have comments to make?
I do. I'm about to walk through security. Can you go first and I'll be on the backside of
Sure. I'm glad you're sticking with us this morning. So, Billy, thank you for all the work you do. Thank you for spending time with me on the phone, and thank you for coming in today. It is a great place to get information out. A lot of people check in, so we'll be looking for our Friday the 13th mail. We'll call it Lucky 13. We'll see how it goes. And Roger, you were spot on. That is kind of one of the biggest hurdles I see is getting through the FAA in regards to all those airport issues. They have oversight. They're a federal agency. We can't cross them, and we have to wait for those answers. And it's frustrating for everyone. Mr. Steele, I did hear your comments about the road, and I will have a talk with the road department just to get some background for you. Thank you for calling in, Delmer. And Anne, thank you for reminding us of that meeting. I appreciate it. And Mr. Bradford, thank you for your comments, and thank you for sitting in on all the meetings that you do. I know you carry a wealth of knowledge with you, and you stay committed to the subjects that you delve into. And I trust your information, and I always appreciate you. Thank you. Mr. Wagner, it's a frustrating situation, and do not think that it is not frustrating for me. The state has meddled in our tax sandbox, and once we get something set, it seems that they pulled it back and reassessed the way that they allow us to assess the green energy projects. And yes, at the state level, they do give them a deal, and that's frustrating for us. And I've said it before, a lot of our battle is not here within our county about green energy, about proper siting, about proper taxation. That battle is at the state level. And if we can put a dent in that, we're going to be very, very lucky. The passing comments that you heard last week, I think were just preliminary discussions about budgets and what could happen or could not happen. There was no determination made on how we would handle any of those tax raisings or tax cuts. It was just preliminary from a couple of the seatmates about things we could do in the future discussing. The interesting part will be when we get to the table and we start having those budget discussions and fighting to keep the taxes down so that we can run a proper county, but not ding our constituents just to have money in our budget. We have to find ways to do that protect our citizens. And that meddling in our tax sandbox by the state is a big topic, and it is taken up by WASAC. The Washington Association of Counties works on it, as well as we combine with other counties. We have a lot of conversations with Yakima County and other counties that you're familiar with on how to help ourselves with the green energy issues. And thank you, Rita, for letting us know about the Facing Fentanyl meetings on the 20th. I'll look into those and make sure that I can get at least one of those on my calendar, but I appreciate you calling in. Mr. Anderson, did you get through security?
I did. I did. Now I'm in an elevator.
Okay. We'll see how this
So, where to begin? I hope I don't lose service in here. So to begin, I think Mr. Wagner and Mr. Eldred. Mr. Eldred, you say when we're not there, we shouldn't get paid. Well, county commissioners don't just work in the county. County commissioners work at the state and at the federal level. I'm in DC right now. Even when some of us are on actual vacation, we still call in and still work and still do all of our jobs. And that's the great thing about technology. So Just because we're not there in person doesn't mean we're not a part of what's going on and we're still not voting on things and doing our jobs. Mr. Wagner, you talk about what I would say, and so I'd gladly respond to you. When we look at, when I say we can't play in another sandbox, what you're pointing out is our ability to levy taxes. You're right. At the end of the year, November, December, we levy the taxes and that the assessor comes over and gives us. What we can't do is play in the assessor's sandbox because the assessor's job is to assess those properties. We don't assess those properties. We levy the dollars that bring in money that goes with the assessments. So I just wanted to clarify that. And then with regards to, I think Commissioner Zoller did a great job. When it comes to the green energy tax diversion, that's something that we work on in Olympia. I spent a lot of time in Olympia trying to get that fixed, and I've been talking about it far longer than 2021. We've been talking about that since since a previous assessor changed the assessments. We've also been having those conversations when the state changed their recommendations on how the assessment is done and set standards for that. And so we've always been lobbying against that because yes, it does affect our citizens. So of course we're a part of that conversation. The question is always, how do we get through the process so that we can get something through the legislature, because it's not us doing it. This is what your state legislature is doing. And while these conversations are great to continue to hit us over the head with, I'll come in. All right. I'm walking into Cliff Vince's office, so I'm going to have to leave the rest for next week.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
All right. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay. No. Okay. So we have now lost our quorum. So yes. Oh no, this is bad. Okay.
Come on, just keep going forward. I think you can handle this.
Well, we can, but legally we cannot. We have to go. Yep.
Don't even have a quorum to recess.
Yep.
Is Mrs. Christopher? Dan's not, Dan isn't showing.
I thought I talked to him and he said he'd be here today.
Yeah.
Can you text him?
Okay. Well, I don't know officially how close a meeting without a vote or a quorum, but we now no longer have a quorum, so. Just 1 second, Elisa's checking some. So this is the shortest meeting on record. And I guess I'll officially close the meeting without officially closing the meeting.
Are you having a discussion with a citizen in the room?
No, I am not. I'm announcing to everyone on Zoom and in the room that we will have to recess because we do not have a quorum. We don't have Mr. Christopher online and Mr. Anderson had to join another meeting. So that will be our meeting for today for Klickitat County. Everything else on the agenda will roll over to next week. Oh, I'd like to, well, I can't, I recessed, never mind. Thank you. I'm learning.